What's up, guys? Adapark here, and if you are watching this video the day it is released on Tuesday, I got some good news for you, and that is that Nighthold is out. The next raid in Legion's tier of raids is finally out, giving us more things to do, more bosses to kill, more loot to collect, etc., etc. And that also means, for those of you that have not been following it, that tier tokens are back, and that means set bonuses. The all-important set bonus, like Warlords of Draenor, the first tier of raiding did not, in fact, have tier. I'm trying to remember Highmaul. I'm trying to erase it from the brain, but set bonuses are back. And when I sat down with my guild early last week, and they had a chance to talk to me, one of the questions that was posed was simply, how are these tier items going to be handled? Is it going to be our normal loot council, whereas I make 90% of the decisions in regards to loot, and that I take input from my one second in command, my one officer? Or is there going to be a new way to handle it? And I said, look, I really haven't decided yet. You know, this is a new thing going into tier tokens. Generally, and hell, I could be completely off base with this, but generally, at least in my head, from previous expansions, we haven't had to wait as long. And again, I could be completely wrong. I don't remember the difference between when Highmaul and Blackrock Foundry was released, what that date and time was. But I said, you know what, guys, let me think about it, and I will get back to you. And I sat down with my second in command for the guild, and I said, hey, look, let's decide on this. What are your ideas? And he said, I've been thinking about this, and here is one that I would propose. And it was actually a very simple idea, that we would agree to a priority list, that we would get essentially each raiding member of my guild to submit a list of, in order, their priority for tier tokens and the top trinkets that they need. We'd consider things like relics, we'd consider things like rings and jewelry, neck pieces. But we said, you know what, especially with relics in the mix, that's a lot of items that we're going to have to keep up with. When in reality, our goal was to ensure that people get set bonuses, that we maximize. Initially, we maximize the amount of set 2 and 4 piece set bonuses, and then we look at bumping people up. If people have a normal item, we'll bump it up to heroic. But we want to make sure that those that really, truly benefit from a set item, a set bonus, will in fact get it. So, like I said, we had every single rating member submit a list, and we sat down tonight, probably 5-6 o'clock, and we went over it for about 45 minutes and said, okay, here is where I would rank people, and I moved people around and he moved people around, and we talked about who was going to get what. And the goal not only was to maximize set bonuses, but we also want to keep it fair, right? Because I don't want, as a raider myself, I would not be okay with one person or a set of people above me always getting loot before me. Whereas the system that we came up with was that if you are being prioritized for tier tokens, for set bonuses, you will probably be put at the bottom of said list when it comes to trinkets. That way, those that have trinkets that they need, or at least there's a consolation prize one way or the other. So after we sat down and we worked on it and we agreed on things, and I prettied it up in Google Documents, I submitted it to my guild's Discord. I said, look, here is the list. This is where everybody is at on the list. I wanted to make it public. So after an entire week of literally like us saying it every single night, guys, submit your lists, make sure that we know what you guys are shooting for so that we can try to get it for you. Let us know what you need so that when the time comes, we can make sure that you get the 4 pieces that you need, and then we'll handle upgrades and whatnot after the fact. After going through all this for a list, for a week, and having everybody's list, and then making it public, that's when the complaints started. That's when the questions started. That's when the issues with this very small change in loot systems go. And, it's funny because the alternative to this system is I make the choice. But the big difference is I've made my choices public. I'm the one that picks loot, who gets loot. I'm the one that's divvying out the loot because I'm the master looter, because I am the raid leader, because I'm the guild leader. And that's just something that I take care of. I have my off tank go ahead and, continue clearing trash while we're giving out loot. Easy enough. But instead of me in my head every single week making a decision as to who's going to get it, I now know who's going to get it. That's the only difference. The loot system is complete the same, except now it's public. But once I made it public, like I said, there were so many questions. Why am I not first on an item? Why is this person ahead of me? Why is this, why am I at the bottom of the list? Why am I last for this and last for that? And I'm not getting this and that, and I want to change it. And I made a mistake. And, is my raid spot general? Like all these stupid questions that came out. And they're absolutely ridiculous because there was a significant amount of time for you to prepare this work. There was a significant amount of time to discuss the issues that you had about this very small change. And people still complain about it. But going forward, I need to formulate a plan, right? Because there are obviously some people that are questioning things, some people that aren't happy, some people that just don't know what's going on. So what is that said plan? Well, my goal here and what I'm trying to relay to you guys, what I'm trying to tell you guys right now is to be transparent with your raiders. Be transparent with those that follow you. Whether you are working in a 9 to 5, 8 to 5, whatever, a professional career job where you are in charge of somebody, or you are running a guild, or in my case, doing both. Be transparent. Now, this does not mean be transparent all the time and tell all of your subordinates or your followers, your guild members, your employees, everything. You don't need to tell them that, every single secret that corporate comes up with, or, everything that, your raid leaders or your guild leader, wherever you're at in that chain of command. You don't need to dish out all that stuff. But they should know what's going on that directly affects them. So the thing is, I've been on that side. I've had guild leaders and raid leaders and class leaders way back in the day who I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't know a damn thing about what was going on. And it sucks. Not knowing where you stand within a guild, where you stand within the guild leadership, where you stand when it comes to getting loot. Not knowing why you didn't get loot, not knowing why someone else got preferential treatment over loot, over, why you got put on bitch duty, doing, whatever the case might be. It's frustrating. I've been there. So that is something that I don't want my raiders to feel, is frustration. To feel that they don't know what's going on, that they aren't clear as to why things are happening the way and the reason that they are happening. I don't want my raiders to log in and go, I have no clue when I'm going to get loot. I have no clue what my loot's going to be. I have no clue if I have a raid spot. I don't want that, because all that ends up happening is, you're going to get pissed off. You're going to say something that you regret. And in the end, bad things happen. People leave, people stop raiding, people switch different, servers or guilds or what have you, because they're frustrated. So, like I've said in a lot of the videos that I do, and I'll continue to say it, is the solution here is really communication. So, before we even go into Nighthold, as we are probably forming up, as we're clearing the initial trash, I'm going to communicate to the guild. I'm going to make sure that everyone knows what's going on. That this is our loot system. That nothing truly has changed. I simply made public who I will choose first for loot. Here are these stipulations as far as if you get an item, what happens. If no one wants an item, what happens to non-tier set pieces and trinkets and rings and stuff once nobody wants them. And then the second part to this is to encourage and make sure that those that aren't happy, and I know right now, I guarantee you guys, right now, some of the people within my guild are not happy about this. Why? Because they publicly have seen where they are at. If it wasn't public and they didn't know, they wouldn't care. But now they're questioning it. What have I done wrong? So I will encourage them to reach out to me directly after the raid. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, during the raid is not the time to handle non-raid issues. That includes loot. If you are not getting your interrupts, off when it is your turn to do it, that's something that we need to handle within the raid. I pull you aside and I go, look, you're missing your interrupts, you're causing us a wipe, you're causing the healers to heal more, whatever. Fix it. Issues with loot, guild issues, handle after the raid. And again, we go back to my loot video. Loot shouldn't be that important. But I'll communicate to the guys, here's what's going on. And then again, encourage them to ask questions. Please remember, as you guys are going through and making guild policy and making changes and coming up with decisions, that while you absolutely have no obligation to explain yourself, and that's not what I'm saying here. I'm not saying explain yourself and explain your actions, but I'm saying make sure that when you make a decision, people know where they stand on it. Because if they don't, they're going to speculate. Why am I at the bottom of the list for loot? Is it because he doesn't like me? Is it because, I speak my mind and sometimes he doesn't like it? Is it because I haven't done this or that? Is it because I do this or that? Or the worst, and this is something that I definitely do, assume the worst. Boss man calls me and says, hey, I need to talk to you for a second. I assume the worst. I most definitely do. And I jokingly tell my boss whenever I say, hey, I need to talk to you for a second, should I get a box and pack my crap up? Because I automatically assume the worst. And when you're not transparent with your people, they are going to assume the worst. Well, I'm at the bottom of the list because he hates me and I'm not going to get loot and, fuck this guild, I'm done, I'm out of here. When in reality, you are the best geared person that we have, you're top tier DPS, we want to even it out. Why make the rich richer when we can bring up some of those that really truly need said gear? So this issue is very easily fixed and prevented from just talking to people. Just communicate. If there are issues with it, handle it. Handle it after raid. Make sure you guys handle it. With all that being said, guys, hopefully you like what I'm saying here. If you do, hit that like button. If you do not, if you disagree with it, most definitely let me know in the comments below. If you think I'm completely wrong, hit the thumbs down button. I'd appreciate it if you didn't. But you know what? I would love the feedback. And until next time, guys, I'll see ya.